Today we're talking over the top golf swings, and I want to share with you a two-stage drill that I found with my students seems to be working quite nicely to fix that over the top once and for all. Let's get stuck into this lesson. Okay, so just to clarify, what is that over the top swing? Because there might be people out there watching this thinking, well, what does that actually mean? And what we're talking about when we say over the top, because it is a phrase that we hear a lot of times when we're out on the golf course, say, oh, you're getting a little bit over the top there. What's that referring to is that as I address the golf club now and we see a line come up the shaft here, as I swing this golf club, when it was designed to swing up and down on that line there, somewhere around here. And if I go back and it's okay, but then on the way down I come over the top of the line here, that changes the direction that club's going to be descending into the golf ball. And what will tend to happen is it comes from outside of my hands here and outside of my ball to target line, which means I get this glancing blow across the golf ball, and depending on how my face is sat, it's going to result in a variant of different shots. Also, my contact isn't going to be very solid into the back of it, it's more of a glancing blow like so. Now, this is a drill that I've done with quite a few of my students now, and it's more of a checkpoint, and two, a visualization, a feeling that we've got to try and have, because when we look at anyone who generally throws it over the top, there's two things that happen. Number one, if we think about our trail elbow, so for me as a right-handed golfer, this elbow here, as I get up to the top of my backswing, however I've gone there, what we would see as I get up to this point now, this trail elbow is actually going to come towards you on the camera like so. So it comes away from my body, you would see this arm extending and it gets out here. So then that leads on into the second point. As my arm extends and the trail elbow gets away, when this club is last parallel to the ground before impact, what we would see is that it's at an angle where now the butt is pointing more into my torso and the head is pointing out in front of my hand. So if we have, there's parallel to my feet line here, the club sat on it, and the club head now is directly behind my hands here, instead of what we see with most over the toppers, it being the butt pointing into the torso, club outside the hands. And then as we go through from here, we generally see this starting to happen. So if we can get rid of this motion where I'm extending my lead arm, my trail arm, sorry, and getting the shaft out there, we're going to be in a good place and deliver it to where most good golfers get it, where the trail elbow's tucking and the shaft gets a little bit behind the hands and delivers on a more into out path. So how are we going to do that? Well, stage one, let's talk about our trail elbow. Okay, so I don't always walk around with a funny device taped to my arm, but what I've got here is my Total Golf Trainer, and it's not actually designed for this. This is actually designed for your lead wrist. But what I found with a couple of my lessons was when we were talking about this trail elbow, what I said was that if I had this on my arm now, and I can see the ball here from this angle placed out as if it's going to poke me if I've got my hand down by the side, what I've got to try and feel in my downswing is that as I get to here now, I'm going to bring the ball into my rib cage. So as I do that, that gets away from this extending motion. It doesn't see me go up to the top and feel like the ball gets away from my rib cage, and we would see this trail arm extend at this point. I've got to be up to the top where I go up and then I try and lay it into the rib cage. From there then I've got this tucking sensation, and then I can go and extend post impact as I go through. Now, if you haven't got one of these, you could simply get a driver head cover and place that under your arm, or even the visual I gave to one of my other students the other day was that if I had a balloon and I placed it under my arm here, or even as I got up to the top, if someone just slipped one in, I want to imagine as I start down, I squeeze all the air out of the balloon. So as I do this, I would see again that ball's coming into my side, but I would now get the the balloon squeezed of all its air, and I get this real gathering feeling. What you would also notice is that as I'm doing this, notice how my body starts to get what we'd call a little bit of side bend in it. So a good way to think of it is the sort of fleshy part between your hip and your rib cage. As you tuck your elbow, you're trying to squeeze those together. So I'm levering this body in a slightly different motion here. So that would be stage one of the feeling. So let's just hit one off there. I'm gonna take my normal address, have a little rehearsal, ball to rib cage, and I see that trail elbow gather up there. So good grip, good stance, ball to rib cage, and a pretty nice shot there for me. I would take that one every day. Right then, so from there then, it was, once I'd got this feeling, it was stage two. Well, where does that shaft go as I'm coming down? What I wanted to feel, and again, this was just a checkpoint, because obviously on the golf course, you're not going to be walking around with one of these, but what we can do each and every time, if I were to take my address now and I take an alignment cane and I just place it at about a 30-degree angle from my trail foot, if I go through the same routine and I feel again that I get this squeezing motion to start the downswing, I might feel that I'm doing it and I've not got it quite enough, a bit like so. So as we see there now, my shaft isn't sat onto the alignment cane. I want to get my good stance up to the top, feel the ball into the rib cage, feel that squeezing of the balloon. So as I get down into here now, we can see that this is sitting directly on top of that alignment cane. So as I would deliver, my body rotates, I let the club unload, as long as my face is square. And that's probably one key component we've got to have. When I make this swing like so, what I've got to feel is that I get it to here, but I don't want to see the face like so. I could tuck my elbow really nicely and get this nice little bit of side bend there, but what you don't want to see from this camera angle is that the face is looking up to the sky. As I do this, I would actually let my lead wrist actually go into a bit more of a bowed position, and as I get the tucking of the elbow and the shaft sitting onto the cane, we now see the toe over the heel, and I've got into a fantastic position like this to now deliver it no longer over the top, it's more under the plane. I get the face nice and square, and as I do that, I would see that I would get a really good golf swing, a solid connection, not a glancing blow, and get the shots I desire. So let's give that a little bit of a go. So I'm going to take my setup. Oh, knock the ball off the tee. One. Don't you know it when people do that? So up, gather my elbow, check the cane, deliver through. Let's go for it. Here we go. So good setup, gather the elbow, check the cane, and just left my face a little bit open there, but was a pretty sweet little clip off. I'm not taking a huge divot, I'm getting the ball away nicely, and that's just up to me to square my club face up. So nice easy little tip there, simple thing. Like I say, if you've not got the Total Golf trainer, imagine that balloon being squeezed and letting all the air come out of it. If we can do that, we're going to get into that better position. And then even if you've not got an alignment cane, you can use a golf club to check those positions. So two real simple thoughts for us there. Give those a go, and hopefully you'll start to see the improvements like I saw from my students, not getting it over the top as much anymore, and they're actually dropping it in and seeing the club in a really good position and hitting much better golf shots. Guys, thanks for watching this lesson this week. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I want you to get better at golf. You're going to do that by joining me here on the channel every week for your free golf lessons. Thanks for watching. See you in your next one.